Good morning, Year 11. We've started our new topic of interest and depreciation, and today our goal is to learn to calculate simple interest. You'll find that this matches up with exercise 9A in your textbook. So let's talk about simple interest. When you deposit, that means when you put money into a bank, a building society, or another financial institution, you're actually lending them your money. Now, keep in mind that a bank is a business, and so their goal is to make money. Well, if you're lending them your money, then you would expect to receive your money back plus an extra amount commonly known as interest. Please make sure that you're filling in your notes that you can find on iLearn. Similarly, if you borrow money from an institution, then they will say, certainly you can borrow some money, but you need to pay an extra amount for that. So you must pay back the original amount plus some interest. Now, interest can be calculated using several different methods, but the simplest method of interest calculation is called simple interest. Okay, so what is simple interest? Well, it's interest that is paid without any interest payments being added onto the principal. Hang on, what's the principal? Well, the principal is the initial amount. Okay, so the simple interest is interest that is paid without any interest payments being added on to the initial amount before the next interest calculation. Okay, so it's not compounding interest, it's just simple interest. And we have a formula for that. Our formula is I equals P R N. P times R times N. Okay, what do each of those things stand for? I stands for simple interest. P stands for principal, which is the initial amount. R is the percentage rate per period, and we express that as a decimal. And N is the number of time periods. So let's have a look at an example of how this would actually work. Calculate the simple interest earned on an investment of $5,000 at 4% per annum for 3 years. Okay, it's an investment, so we know that we're putting money into the bank. First of all, it says simple interest, so write the simple interest formula. I equals P R N, and we're going to substitute in. Do we know what our initial amount is, our principal? Yes, we do. It's 5,000. Do we know what our rate is? Yes, it's 4% per annum, and we express that as a decimal. So that would be 0.04. And our time periods, it's 3 years. So on your calculator, 5,000 times 0.04 times 3 is $600. So the interest that you have earned when you invest $5,000 on those terms is $600. That means that when you go to the bank and say, I would like my money back, you're not expecting just the $600, just the interest. You're wanting the initial amount that you put in plus any interest. And that can be represented in this formula here. Amount that you want back at the end is P, the principal, initial amount, plus you want your interest as well. Now please just note, when you are working with simple interest, the time must be calculated in years. If it's given in months, then you need to put it as a fraction over 12. So for example, 18 months would be 18 over 12. Or 42 months would be 42 over 12. Okay, it must be given in years. All right, let's do some more practice. $12,000 is invested, is put into the bank for 5 years at 9.5% per annum. That means per year, and they're telling us it's simple interest. So we know straight away to use the formula I equals PRN. And the actual question says calculate the value of this investment at the end of the term. So we want to keep that in mind. They're not just asking for the interest, they're asking for the value of the investment at the end of the term, what you want back from the bank. Okay, first of all, let's find the interest. The principal is $12,000 multiplied by the rate, R, which is 0.095. If you're not sure automatically how to convert this percentage into a decimal, then you can put it in, percent means divided by 100, per 100. So you could also put it in like this, 9.5 divided by 100. And your calculator will automatically convert it to 0.095. Okay, back to our formula. Principal times rate times n, number of time periods. How long are you investing it for? 5 years. Okay, get your calculator out. 12,000 times 0.095 times 5. 5700. Okay, our interest is 5,700. Not bad. However, you've gone back to the bank and you say, I would like my investment now that the term has finished. So you don't just want the 5,700, you've already put in 12,000. So the amount at the end is 12,000, the original amount you put in, plus the interest. $17,700. Noah applied for a simple interest car loan with an interest rate of 9% per annum. He was told that the simple interest, again we're using that formula, the simple interest would be $6,300 for 3.5 years. What was the principal? I hope that you can see that in this question, we're going to be working backwards. Even if you read a question like this and you're not sure where to go, because it says simple interest, straight away, write the formula down and let's see what we can do. I equals PRN. Okay, now the question says, what was the principal? Okay, so we don't know what it was. Hopefully, we have enough information for the other 3 variables, the other 3 letters. Do we know what the simple interest is? Yes, we do. It says it would be 6,300. We don't know the principal, so leave it as P, multiplied by our rate of 0.09 and our time of 3.5 years. Okay, so we need to do some rearranging. We want P by itself and all the numbers on the other side. Okay, what's the opposite of timesing by 0.09 and timesing by 3.5? Well, it's dividing. Okay, so 6,300 divided by 0.09 equals P. All right, calculators out. P equals 20,000. Does that sound reasonable for a car loan? Yes, it does. Okay, final example together. Jessica wishes to buy a lounge suite priced at $2,750. Now she chooses to buy it on terms by paying a 10% deposit and then borrowing the balance. Okay, that word balance, it just means the amount left over. So first of all, let's work out what kind of deposit she's paying. How much is her 10% deposit? So 10%, 0.10 of means times, 10% of The cost of the lounge, $2,750, is $275. So if we've worked out what our 10% deposit would be, and now we need to know, well, okay, so she's paid the deposit. What's left over? What's the balance that she actually needs to go and borrow? Well, the lounge costs $2,750. She's paid a 10% deposit, so take away $275. And what's left over? $2,475. That's how much she needs to borrow because she doesn't have that. Now, the bank is happy to loan it to her. However, they're going to charge her some interest. And these are the bank's terms. They say, we will charge you 11.5% interest per year on the amount that you're borrowing. All right, let's work that out. Interest equals PRN. Here is your principal. Okay, that's the amount that you are borrowing. 2,475 multiplied by your rate, 0.115, multiplied by the time in years, 3 years. All right, calculators out, 2,475 times 0.115 times 3. Now we're going to give it to 2 decimal places because we're talking about money, okay, dollars and cents. 853.88 is the interest. Okay, so what's the total amount that she actually needs to pay back? Let's work that out. Total amount that she has to pay to the bank is, first of all, she's borrowed an initial amount and then she needs to add her interest. Okay, so she's borrowed 2,475 and then we're adding the interest of 853.88. All right, do that in your calculator, please. So the total amount that she has to pay back is $3,328, and again, give it to 2 decimal places. We're working in dollars and cents. 88. Fantastic. Well, have a look at that number. That's more than the lounge actually cost. It's not a good idea. Oh well, I guess that's what happens if you don't have the money and you have to borrow it. All right, now the final part of the question says calculate her fortnightly repayments. Okay, well that's how much she has to pay back in total over 3 years. So fortnightly repayments . 3328.88, and then we need to divide it by the amount of fortnights in 3 years. So 3 multiplied by 26, because there's 26 fortnights in a year. $42, and to 2 decimal places, 68 cents is her repayment every fortnight. So what you now need to do is go to exercise 9A and please complete the following questions listed here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9 and 11, and once that is finished and they're marked, I've listed some practice HSC questions specifically listed to calculating simple interest that you need to go and work on. If you're still having a little bit of difficulty, you can also watch the simple interest video on Atomi. All right, I'll see you in class tomorrow.